to my channel. If this is indeed the first time that you're on my channel, my name is Vanessa Somuayina and I would like to welcome you into the fam. Guys, I cannot believe that in today's monthly zodiac prediction, we will be wrapping up the rest of 2020. This year has gone by so rapidly, but at times also so slowly. But if you're watching this reading, we made it. Yes, I am celebrating the fact that we made it through 2020. And in order to help each zodiac sign close off 2020 on the most positive as well as productive note possible, I have created this tarot reading. So each zodiac sign receives its own monthly horoscope, and the timestamps for every sign is linked down below in the description box as well as pinned to the comment section. So it's really simple. You click your sign and you will be fast forwarded to that relevant part of the video. And furthermore, I do understand that especially during this time of the year, a lot of you would like extra guidance and maybe even personal readings about your upcoming year. And for this exact reason, I have carved some time out of my schedule and made personal readings conducted by myself available again on my website. The link to that can be found in the description box as well. So because I was taking a little bit of a break to recharge and regain my strength, personal readings have not been available on my site for the past weeks. But as of you watching this video right now, I will have opened up the slots again for 48 hours. So for up to 48 hours after this video has been published, you will be able to receive a personal reading conducted by myself. But because I've had such a large number of requests for personal readings, I might also turn it off before the 48 hours have gone by to ensure that each reading is conducted to the highest quality possible. So if you've always wanted a personal reading conducted by myself, this is the best opportunity for you to still receive one. But all of the relevant information and the links can be found in the description box as well as on my website. So I hope that I could answer your questions about personal readings and why I only offer them sparingly and in little batches. But now back to your December predictions. So for your December 2020 predictions, I would recommend that you watch your sun sign as well as your moon sign. That way you can receive the most well-balanced and informative December reading possible. So I will be starting off with the first sign of the zodiac, which is the Aries. And for all of my other beautiful zodiac signs, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello all of my Aries babies and welcome to your December 2020 prediction. So I'm going to get straight into it. All you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy your December reading. So let's see what the universe has to say for you. We have the sunstone as well as the pink opal. So all of my Aries babies, I want you to know here in the pink opal that you're being called to be kind to yourself. You're being called to take care of yourself as well as to allow yourself to indulge. So whether that be in food, whether that be in, for example, shopping, just treating yourself, it is the right time for you to do so during December of 2020. I see here in the sunstone that you are being urged to take more pleasure in the things that you do, especially if 2020 has been kind of a little bit of a larger than life adventure for you. As an Aries, you're one of the more adventurous ones of the zodiac, and you can take ups and downs, but to a certain degree. So 2020 may have been a bit of a crazy, wild ride for you, crazier than you hoped for. And it may have been more about just kind of like getting things done, getting things over with, and finally coming to the end of this year rather than enjoying, which is where I can see here in the sunstone that you are being called to take more pleasure in everything that you're doing during December. Then we have the Fool, and now the Fool is a very interesting character to show up during the end of this year for you, all of my Aries babies. The Fool is the type of card that depicts the fresh beginning that you need, the fresh adventure that you're about to embark on. So I do want you to know here in the Fool that you are being called to look forward, to kind of like forget about any downfalls or difficulties that you've had during this year, and instead in December to plan ahead, to figure out where you want to go next, regardless of how the beginning, the middle, or just 2020 in total may have been for you, to instead just look at the positives, look at how you can move forward best, and how you can ensure that 2021 is a successful year. So not only a year that is kind of fun, but also filled with the type of success that you may have missed during 2020 altogether. Then we have the 10 of Wands. So all my Aries babies, in the 10 of Wands, I can see here that it is time for you to take time to rest. It is time for you to not invest in new ideas until the end of 2020, okay? So basically for the whole month of December, take time to brainstorm, to make plans, to form plans for the future, but don't actually start yet, okay? Don't take any action yet. December is more about relaxing for you. December is more about taking time away, just to chill out and not have to stress about anything, to make plans, okay? So to plan ahead, to kind of think of how you're going to embark on this new adventure, but not actually begin yet. As I can see here in the 10 of Wands, you need rest, you need recuperation, you need time to yourself and to be able to regain some strength before you embark on the new journey, and also to be able to properly prepare. Just imagine, for example, going camping or going on a very long hike. You don't want to go unprepared, right? You don't want to go without water, without the necessary like shoes and gear that you need in order for it to be successful, and in order for you to be able to get through it, having not only enjoyed it, but actually even survived it. So preparation is key for you. Then we have the Queen of Stones as well as the Mirror. So all of my little Aries babies, I can see here in the Queen of Stones that when it comes to your financial status, it's very important for you to not be too hard on yourself for what happened during this calendar year that we're still currently in, that we're kind of like rounding up, but instead in the mirror to reflect on the things that you did amazingly well and the things that you maybe struggled with. As I can see here in the Queen of Stones, that it's important for you to have more of a nurturing kind approach towards yourself in order to be able to see how you can do things better next, in order to be able to come to these realizations of, oh wow, like I don't need to feel bad about anything that didn't go according to plan, or anything that maybe didn't go as well as I hoped that it would. Instead, I can use these lessons moving forward for 2021 and create the best year yet, or at least make the most out of every situation, especially in my career, and even see kind of like fails as wins, because often when we don't get the things that we desired, it's not really that we are unsuccessful. Sometimes it's just the universe kind of protecting us from something that was never meant to be ours in the first place. Next we have making meals. So I do see here in Make a Meal that a lot of home cooked meals are going to be the case for you during December, which is most likely also why you're being called to take pleasure, to be kind to yourself. Don't restrict, especially if food is like a difficult subject for you. Just enjoy. And if you know that you can't enjoy and you're kind of like worried about too many meals, you're kind of like worried about conversations while you're having those meals and being stressed out, just have like a very small portion, but really enjoy that. Eat it very slowly, and know that the most important thing here is just the home cooked aspect. It's just the aspect of being able to enjoy, whether it's a big thing or a small thing, and just being able to ease into the situation and know that you're nourishing not only your soul, your mind when you're around people who you love and care about, but also your body. Next up we have build strength. So all of my Aries babies, and build strength, it does really tie in beautifully with the fact that in the 10 of Wands, you do need to relax. You have been overexerting yourself, and it's time for you to take a little step back. We have sing as well. So even if your voice isn't, say, the voice of an angel, or not one that you would classify as the voice of an angel, do know here in sing that even if it's under the shower, just expressing yourself vocally, kind of using your vocal range just to shift vibrations, just to move into a space where you can be creative musically, where you can use your voice in order to express how you're feeling and what you're going through, has a very therapeutic effect on you, all of my Aries. So I do want you to know that as a whole, December is really about regeneration and preparation. It's not so much about getting things done. It seems here in the Ten of Wands as though you have enough loose ends to tie up and kind of finish off, if you will, enough projects that you need to complete up until the end of the year. So any free minute that you get, really focus on relaxation as well as prepping, planning, getting yourself a planner if that's something that you're into. And if you're skeptical about it, try journaling, try to actually set the goal to plan out things, and just know that December is really more a month of reflection for you, like we spoke about in the mirror, rather than a month of too much action. So as an Aries, that may seem almost boring to you, but do know that preparation is key for success during 2021. So all of my Aries babies, we're at the end of your reading. If you would like your December love prediction, the link to that video is down below in the description box. Feel free to watch that if you want to know more about what's coming up for you during the month of December. I hope that you found this reading insightful and that you were able to connect with it. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll catch you in another video. Hello, all of my Taurus babies of the world, and welcome to your December prediction. So I'm gonna get straight into it with my tattoo tarot deck, and all you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy your prediction. So first and foremost, we have the Three of Swords. So all of my Taurus babies, I do see here in the Three of Swords that in a way you are going to have a lot of interesting discussions about what is to come next. I see that during December 2020, you're going to be talking to a lot of people who you respect, a lot of people who you look up to, about what best to plan for the upcoming calendar year. I see here in the Six of Swords that the social aspect is really what you're enjoying during December. The social aspect of exchanging ideas, expectations, fears, and just overall feelings about what is to come next. I see that during December, you're really not so much focused on December itself, you're more focused on what is to come next, on the future. Then we have the Eight of Swords. So many swords within your reading, all of my Taurus babies. Now the swords, in case you didn't know, is correspondent to the element of air. And the element of air speaks of things that are happening mentally for you. So they haven't transpired into reality yet. It is more what is happening on an intellectual and mental level. So I do want you to know here in the Eight of Swords that overthinking is something that you're definitely going to be experiencing during the month of December, and just sharing those thoughts with others, as we spoke about in the Six of Swords, is going to help soothe you and also make you feel like you're a bit more in charge of any thoughts that scare you or any thoughts that overwhelm you. Next up, we have the Appetite. Now in the Appetite, one thing that I can see is you getting out of your comfort zone during the month of December. So all my Taurus babies, I do want you to know that this can be a little bit uncomfortable, especially as, you know, a fixed sign that doesn't like too much change unless of course you have induced it. I can see here in the Appetite that that can make you feel highly uncomfortable, and being pushed out of your comfort zone is in a way triggering you to speak to people about pros and cons about this whole movement out of your comfort zone, and it may even trigger you to engage in some heated discussions about the future. Next, we have the Chrysoprase. Now in the Chrysoprase, one thing that I can see here is that you're going to be receiving a lot when it comes to different opinions, words of encouragement, as well as material abundance. So I do want you to know here that the Chrysoprase stands for you allowing yourself to receive, which as a Taurus is a little bit more easy for you than other signs. As a Taurus, you're the type of person who loves the finer things in life. You're the type of person who loves to receive little or big luxuries. So I do see here in the Chrysoprase that that is something that you can enjoy during December, and you also feel as though, okay, this is actually something that is in my comfort zone compared to what we have here in the Appetite, everything that's happening outside of your comfort zone. So thankfully you have some balance here for you during the month of December, so things aren't too crazy and all over the place. Next we have the Four of Stones. In the Four of Stones, I do see security financially as well as for your job. So if you've been a little bit unsure about what's happening next in your career, I want you to know here in the Four of Stones that you have this sense of protection and this sense of everything's going to be okay. So you will have a sign from the universe, a sign from just the divine that shows you, okay, things are going to be fine during 2021. Things are going to be in a space where you don't need to worry too much, where you don't need to kind of wonder about how you're going to facilitate your income, how you're going to be able to support yourself and maybe also your family. Next up, we have the Wheel. So in the Wheel, I can see here that during December, you are going to be tested and you're going to be able to show what you're really made of. So all my Taurus babies do know here in the Wheel that there will be ups and downs during December. I'm not gonna lie, I've gotta be honest with you, there will be highs and lows, but in the lows is where you can really prevail by showing the world exactly what you're made of, what you're capable of, and the fact that even though you're a fixed sign that maybe doesn't really love change or doesn't really love doing things that they're not used to or not 100% into, you still can if you need to, and you can thrive and you can do things well. So bringing your best foot forward is what is going to allow you to thrive during December and what is going to allow you to be successful in your endeavors and learn a lot. With the Three of Swords, the Eight of Swords, as well as the Six of Swords, I do see here that this increase in mental activity can leave you feeling a little bit exhausted, but at the same time, full of new and fresh knowledge. Next up, we have the Citrine. Now in the Citrine, one thing that I can see here is the release of unnecessary burdens and worries that you've been carrying around with you. Now in conjunction to the Four of Stones, it's very clear that those burdens have to do with your finances and your career, and you kind of like giving that up to the universe and not being so hyper focused on it any longer. Then we have the Sugulite. Now in the Sugulite, I do see here that you are replacing any type of codependency or people pleasing with more assertiveness and empowerment. You're creating this clear break between what you're doing because you want to and what you've been doing up until this point just to please others, and kind of canceling out people pleasing behavior because you understand that you're not really serving anybody, and at the end of the day it's doing more bad than good. So I do see in the Sugulite that any type of codependent relationship is most likely going to have its downfall during December. Then we have your dream journal, as well as planning a vacation. Now, all of my Taurus babies, I do see here in the dream journal that your dreams are going to be highly interesting and informative during December, so you may want to write those down, start a dream journal if you have not already. Furthermore, in your dream, there may be some hints about a vacation. There may be some hints about where you're going next and also why you're going there. I can see here in planning this trip, planning this vacation, that this is one that is divinely guided, and you want to go on this trip in order to nourish your soul, in order to feed yourself in an intellectual way. So you're not just going just to have fun, to lay on a beach or to get wasted. That's not the vibe, all my Tauruses. I do want you to know, in conjunction to all of these swords that we had within your reading, that any type of trip that you're planning, any type of vacation that you are wanting to engage with, I see that this is only going to happen if it makes sense for you, not only financially, but also on an emotional and mental level. You want to learn about other cultures, you want to possibly help if you can, and just overall broaden your outlook on this world, broaden your horizon mentally. So all of my beautiful Tauruses of the world, this is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Let me know down below in the comment section what hit home. Furthermore, December love predictions are linked in the description box as well, so feel free to tune into those. To all my Taurus babies, thank you for sharing this sacred and divine time with me, and I'll catch you in another video. Hello all my Geminis of the world, and welcome to your December prediction. So I'll get straight into it with my tattoo tarot deck. and all you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy. Furthermore, I have linked the December love predictions in the description box as well, so feel free to check those out in case you haven't done so already. But let's move into your reading. So first and foremost, we have the Chariot. So all of my Geminis, contrary to the usual you, to the overthinker, to the one who is all over the place and always mentally highly active, I see here in the Chariot that your mental activity is still on an all-time high, but you are focused on moving into one concise direction. I see a lot of assertiveness when it comes to you moving down your path during the month of December, and you just getting back on track, really getting back to a path that feels comfortable, productive, and effective for you. Now, I do want you to know here in the Chariot that being back in your lane and moving down a route that feels comfortable comes with an increase in your self-worth as well as just confidence in general. Next, we have Judgment. Now, Judgment is something that may arise as soon as you have this very clear direction that others do not agree with. So I do want you to know that during festivities in December, that during just gatherings with friends, family, just people in general, they may judge you a bit more harshly, and you may feel like they're looking at you a little bit like, does this Gemini baby really have the audacity to go down this path? Does this little Gemini really think that they have it all figured out? So I do see a certain sense of skepticism that you can feel, and that is making you kind of think like, now I'm gonna go down the path that I desire even more, because all of the naysayers, all of the haters, I'm gonna show them for good. Next, we have the Tiger's Eye. Now, in the Tiger's Eye, I do see you here being able to overcome any fears that you may have. Now, by the way, we are twinning with the Tiger Eye. I will leave this Tiger Eye ring linked down below in the description box. It is from my website. So in the Tiger Eye, I definitely see you overcoming fears by having this direction, by having this newfound drive and this newfound light at the end of the tunnel, because often it can be hard to overcome fears when you don't really know where you're going or what your goals are. But because your goals are being illuminated and becoming so crystal clear, so are your fears, and so are the opportunities to overcome those fears and the tools that you need in order to just like get rid of them once and for all. Next, we have the Chrysocolla. So the Chrysocolla does speak of a fresh beginning, a new start for you, all my beautiful Geminis, during the month of December. So this fresh start definitely comes with your leadership abilities and you saying, this is where I'm going, and I'm not doing any U-turns, and I'm not taking any types of shortcuts, no matter how difficult the road may be. Then we have the Bloodstone, and the Bloodstone speaks of you getting up and getting moving. So if you did not already suspect it, in the Chariot, I do want you to know, my beautiful Gemini baby, that in the Bloodstone, there's going to be a lot of movement for you during the month of December. There's going to be a lot that changes, but in a good way, because you feel like you're in control. That's one thing that I see here in the Chariot, and you're not going to let anybody take your feeling of empowerment away. And this fresh start is one that comes with not only a lot of courage, but you also kicking tons of fears in the butt. Next, we have the Ace of Stones. The Ace of Stones shows me here that you're able to create a new beginning financially, which is maybe also why you have so much more confidence, because you understand that really the outcome of your life is in your hands. It's completely up to you, and also enjoying your life is another thing that's completely up to you. So you are not at all in the mood to care about what others may think, like we spoke about in Judgment. You're more concerned about how much you love your life and what type of opportunities have presented themselves for you, because you're fearless, because you're empowered, and because you're not letting fear stop you from getting to that point where opportunities can come your way. So just think about it this way. Of course, it would be great to win the lottery, but if you never purchase a ticket, then that opportunity just doesn't even exist. So the difference between purchasing a ticket, even if the ticket's chances are 1 in a million, versus not purchasing a ticket at all, that is like the big switch that you're making, all of my Geminis. So actually purchasing the ticket rather than just wishing trusting that you can win the prize, even though you never even like put an entry forward, right? So that is where I see you taking action and things just changing for the better for you. Next up, we have the journey. So in the journey, I do see in conjunction to judgment that you may start to think that some people are not going to accompany you any further down your path in life. I can see here in the journey that in a sense, some people may disappoint you a lot during December. And I have to be honest with you all, my Geminis, I can't just say what you want to hear. So I do see here that some relationships, you may just feel this solidified sense of, yeah, you know what, we've really grown apart to a point that is not salvageable. And this person is most likely not going to be in my life for a long time, or is most likely not going to continue to be an important part of my life, period, because either you've just grown apart or they're not taking the time to get to know you, your interests, and the person that you're constantly continuing to evolve towards and evolve into, because life is all about evolution. If you're the same as you were 5 years ago, I mean, something didn't go as planned, because ideally you should continue to grow. In the Angelite, one thing that I can see here is that what can help you kind of find a little bit of support and a little bit more warmth is a community of like-minded people. So that may also be why you're very drawn to my channel or other channels. So having this community where you know that there are other people who understand you, who support you, who completely get what you're going through. I see that that is where you can get a lot of positivity out of, as well as just a lot of encouragement to continue to grow, and a lot of testimonials by people who have been in that same situation. People who can continue to empower you to be who you are, even if you're being looked at through very skeptical lenses by people who should have been there supporting you. You know, family, friends, mothers, fathers, siblings that just ended up not being there when you needed them the most, all because they didn't understand what you were going through. But do know that there are lots of amazing communities of like-minded people who are in similar situations, both on my channel and other places online. But do be careful, because there are also always people who try to prey on others. I see here in the peridot that life lessons are just coming towards you in December in a way how you're looking at it from a little bit of a distance. So as I was saying just a moment ago, you have to be careful, because there are also people who try to prey on others. So when you're part of a community, there are always bad apples. There are always people who want to kind of take advantage of those who are in a difficult situation. So be very careful when it comes to business opportunities that you are being proposed with in December that seem too good to be true. There are a lot of schemes that are going around very sadly in this world, whether it be in the makeup industry or a more spiritual industry, whether it be in a clothing industry, where people come to you and say, hey, you can be an ambassador, or you can run your own business with our products. And they just sucker people in and tell people that they just have to work harder and they will be able to gain financial freedom and so on and so forth, when their entire business is built on people not actually ever being able to sustain a livelihood, you know? So that's where it's very important for you to distinguish between people just talking a good talk when it comes to business and opportunities, and there actually being a legit opportunity there for you. Next, we have energy work as well as the burning bowl ritual. So I do see here that for all of my beautiful Geminis, you are kind of a little bit more encompassed in your own world, which is great. And I do see here in energy work that because you're realigning your chakras, maybe also doing Reiki sessions, you are able to realign your energetic centers in your body. And that will help you intuitively know a good opportunity from one that is basically just a scam. So I do see here in conjunction to the burning bowl ritual that doing a burning bowl ritual, just taking part in it, if you can, is going to help you to release any types of doubts that you have about moving forward, as we spoke about in the Tiger's Eye, with fears, with judgment being a part of December, especially during festivities, family dinners, just overall overall outings where you're kind of reflecting on 2020 and you realizing that some people are very skeptical about you, and that can sometimes instill some fear or some doubt. So the burning bowl ritual is an ideal type of ritual for you to let go of any of that unwanted energy that you just, quite frankly speaking, do not need. So all of my beautiful Geminis, this is a reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Let me know down below in the comment section what hit home, and I will catch you in another video. Hello all my beautiful Cancerians of the world, and welcome to your December 2020 prediction. So I'm gonna get straight into it with my tattoo tarot deck, and all you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy. So first and foremost, we have the 10 of Cups as well as the 8 of Cups. So I see emotional bliss, which is of course a great thing for literally any Cancerian out there, me included. So I do want you to know here in the 10 of Cups that we have emotional fulfillment and happiness, whereas in the 8 of Cups, we have you kind of working on your different relationships and putting those relationships into a space where they're in the best shape possible. So reconnecting with people who you maybe have kind of had on the back seat because you've been busy, or you've just, quite frankly speaking, forgotten to touch base with them. I see that during December you're doing all of that. You're kind of exerting a bit of your social butterfly side that doesn't come out all too often. Next up, we have the 9 of Swords. So I do see here in the 9 of Swords that you may have a little bit of a crisis during December where you're like, oh my god, I can't believe this year is coming to an end. I can't believe that everything has moved slowly but quickly at the same time. I have to touch base with everybody. I have to make sure that everybody knows that they are still important to me. So that is where I can see in the 9 of Swords that this crisis may come from a place where you feel as though there are a lot of people in your life, but you're not sure who really loves you, who really cares about you. So in a way, a little bit of a suspicion that everybody secretly maybe doesn't like you as much, and that you have to make sure that you are the best friend, the best daughter, the best sibling that you can possibly be. So I do see here in the 9 of Swords, in a way, fear when it comes to your relationships, and that's why you're putting so much work and effort into your relationships, because you want to make sure that you end each and every connection on a fantastic note by the end of the year. Next, we have the Pyrite. So in the Pyrite, we have a very positive note for you for the month of December. I see here in the Pyrite that money is something that flows easily. Money is something that is coming towards you, all my beautiful Cancerians. So allow it to flow in, allow it to come in a way how you're not hurting the flow of abundance. So do know here in the 9 of Swords that overthinking and making little things bigger than they need to be can actually damage your flow of abundance. It can actually damage how much you're able to accomplish financially. So try to very much differentiate between your personal life as well as your career and your finances. Next, we have the Jade. So in the Jade, I see you being the bigger person, and I see you doing so pretty voluntarily, as we spoke about in the 10 of Cups as well as the 8 of Cups. Any kind of loose ends that you have in a relationship, if you've ended a relationship on a little bit of a strained note these past few months, but you know that you have to talk to that person at some point anyways. I see you here in the Jade being the bigger person, extending the olive branch, reaching out first and trying to rekindle, because I do see here in the 9 of Swords that when it dawns on you just how fragile and short life can be, you want to make sure that all of your relationships are in good shape. Then we have the Tiger's Eye. Now in the Tiger's Eye, I do see you overcoming fears of yours, and also we are twinning. Look at my Tiger Eye ring that I have on today. I'm going to link this beautiful gem down below in the description box that you can get from my store here in Switzerland, as well as the sunstone that I'm wearing. So I do want you to know here in the Tiger Eye that overcoming fears is a big thing, is a big obstacle for you during December, but nevertheless one that you're willing to take on and kind of like work to overcome. I do see here in conjunction to the Pyrite and the fact that financially money is flowing in, it gives you confidence to move forward, actually taking on fears, actually taking on things that would have scared you prior to December, but empowering yourself enough to face all of those difficult situations, those demons moving forward. And of course, having this newfound kind of support from people around you and this confirmation that you are in fact loved and nobody actually hates you, it was just all in your head. I definitely see that boost in emotional confidence, that boost in your relationships is going to help you move forward in a more strong way. Next up, we have the lapis lazuli. Now in the lapis lazuli, I see here a life-changing experience or a big epiphany coming towards you. Now, we're getting a little closer to the root of why you feel like every relationship of yours has to be on good terms. I see here in the lapis lazuli that you may have a little bit of a scare for a moment here during the month of December. So maybe you can't reach somebody for a day and you're really worried that, oh my God, what if something happened to them? And then you think about the last conversation that you had with them and you're like, oh my God, it didn't end on as good of a note as I would like it to if that was, say, for example, the last conversation that I was ever able to have with that person. So I definitely see that these worst case scenarios that we have here in the Nine of Swords that are playing in your head, that are really freaking you out and scaring you, are causing you to actively make sure that every phone conversation, every emotional encounter that you have ends on a good note and ends on a note where you express that you love that person, regardless of whether you have differing opinions. Next, we have the amethyst. Now in the amethyst, all my beautiful Cancerians, I can see here that you're allowing others to see the real you. I can see that you feel loved for who you truly are. So the more you're really investing into your relationships and strengthening them during the month of December, the more you feel like you can open up, be yourself, get comfortable, and like people appreciate you for who you truly are, not for who you maybe pretend to be or who you are on a very kind of like not personal level. Because who you are, for example, on Instagram, on Facebook, whatever platforms it is that you use, that is not who you are at the core, right? Not many of us put ourselves out there and make ourselves vulnerable on social media where anybody can take a jab at us. So I do see here in the amethyst that when you spend one-on-one time with people, you feel like you can really unfold and open up a whole lot more. But furthermore, in the amethyst, if you are interested in making your social media, just making overall being in the public eye more of a career move, I see you opening up there a lot more and making yourself more vulnerable. Because if there's one thing about these types of ventures, is that it just doesn't feel authentic when you're not yourself. And you're coming to notice that. You're coming to notice that whether you're writing a book, a blog, or creating videos on YouTube, when you're unable to open up, be yourself, and feel comfortable, things just don't feel right. And you aren't able to gain the traction or amass a following at all because it just doesn't gel well with other people when they can feel that you're not as comfortable as you possibly could be. Next up, we have the Five of Arrows. So in the Five of Arrows, I definitely see here that creatively, December starts out with a little bit of frustration till you get to this amethyst, lapis lazuli epiphany and realization that the only way forward is just being yourself. The only way forward is putting love into everything that you do, but also giving yourself enough love to say, hey, I am an awesome person, and for me to open up online, for me to show who I truly am, that's not going to be a downfall. That's going to be something that sets me apart and that allows others to love me for who I am. Then we have the Sun of Life. So in the Sun of Life, I see a lot of warmth. I see a lot of energetic upgrades, if you will. I do see here in the Sun of Life that in a sense you feel like December is really allowing you to come to life. December is really allowing you to kind of tank up on life's energy, on zest, if you will. So I do see a lot of renewal. I do see you spending time outside in the sun, taking up this energy that you so desperately need, gaining that vitamin D, if you know what I mean, and just overall well being in a state where you feel connected to your body, but also very connected to those around you, very connected in your relationships. So all of my Cancerians, I truly hope that you enjoyed your reading. I hope that you're staying safe. I would like to thank you for sharing this sacred space with me today, and I will catch you in another video. Hello all my Leos of the universe, and welcome to your December prediction. So I'm gonna get straight into it with my tattoo tarot, and all you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy. So we have the Queen of Swords as well as the Seven of Cups. So all of my Leos, I see here in the Seven of Cups that you have a lot of choices that you can make for yourself during the month of December. In conjunction to the Queen of Swords, I see that these choices have to do with how you move forward. These choices are strategic choices that you are able to make. So your strategy when it comes to your career, do you stay in this field that you're in right now? Do you continue to invest time in education the way you have? Or do you move into a completely different type of field of work, into a completely different area code that you maybe don't know much about, but you have more passion for? The same goes for any types of moves that you want to make strategically in relationships, especially romantic relationships. So all of my Leos, you have very strong personalities and strong characters, and I can see here in conjunction to the Seven of Cups that you're trying to decide for yourself how to move forward in your love life, and also how direct that you want to be with the things that you desire. All of a sudden you may, for example, want a little bit deeper of a connection or more of a commitment, whether that be through starting a family, adopting a pet together, or just actually defining your relationship, and maybe moving into a place where an engagement is possible, just wanting to define your relationships, romantic and platonic, but especially the romantic ones, and to make sure that they're solidified, that they're in place for what is to come next in 2021. Next up, we have the Black Kyanite. Now in the Black Kyanite, I see you setting boundaries. Now as a Leo, your kind of like fiery energy, it can be intimidating, especially when you're setting boundaries and you're saying, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, I'm okay with X, Y, and Z, but not with option B. So that is where I can see that some people may be intimidated by your aura. Some people may be intimidated by your energy, but nevertheless, you're moving forward, saying what it is that you desire and what it is that you want nothing to do with. Next up, we have the Bloodstone. So in the Bloodstone, I see a lot of movement happening for all of my beautiful Leos, and I see that this movement is happening around these boundaries that you're setting in the Black Kyanite. So you, for example, saying that you don't just want to be, casual friends, or how should I say, just booty call buddies. No, in the Bloodstone, I see that when you make that very clear, the people and the relationships around you begin to shift and change. So people start to either kind of like adapt to your expectations, or then people fall away. So there's a lot going on, but it's all your choice. You're deciding to say what your boundaries are. You're deciding to say what you're okay with and what not. And I see that you're very confident, and Leo energy puts you in this position where you're like, okay, everybody who matters will stick around and will be there for me and will step up to the plate. And the people who never mattered to begin with, or who don't matter right now, if they don't embark on moving forward with me, with the boundaries and the expectations that I have for these relationships, then bye-bye. Then we don't need you around here, because you give a lot as a Leo. You're not just a selfish fire sign who only cares about themselves. You care deeply about those around you. Yes, you have a big out there kind of personality, but at the same time, you know your worth, and you know how much effort that you put into your relationships, and you expect the same in return. Next, we have the Ocean Jasper. Now in the Ocean Jasper, I see you making a lot of time for yourself, a lot of self-care, and spending an unusual amount of time alone during the month of December. We have the Hematite as well. So in the Hematite, I see that you are doing this because you instinctually feel like you need to ground yourself. I see that intuitively, as a Leo, you feel more than ever that during December, you need to ground yourself, taking long baths, spending time just reading, researching, doing things things that you love for yourself, for nobody else, and not allowing anybody to tell you what to do or what they think would be the best approach for you moving forward. I see that in a sense, you are the center of your universe during December, and your well-being is the center of what you are working on, which rightfully so. I can see here that moving forward, it's important for you to schedule yourself in. I see that in the Ocean Jasper, because in the past, you've scheduled a lot of people in prior to yourself. So you've kind of given them all of the energy that you had and you weren't left with much, which is a mistake you're trying to avoid moving forward. Then we have the wheel. So all of my beautiful Leos, I do see here in the wheel that in a sense, December is going to come with ups and downs that are very unpredictable. In correspondence to the Four of Stones, I see that this may have you holding on to your pennies a little more than usual. So wanting to save as much as you can and wanting to make sure that you're not just spending money frivolously just because it's that time of the year. So I see that every purchase that you make is very well thought out. And also when it comes to gifts, presents, just spending time with friends and family, whether it be spending money on food, dinners, things like that, I see that you're really thinking it through before you just spend a heap of money. You want to make sure that it is worth the experience, or that you're buying something that is quality and has meaning. Then we have the Moon on water. In the Moon on water, I do see here that your intuition is very heightened. Now that's something that we already spoke about in conjunction to the hematite, and this feeling of just needing to ground yourself, this feeling of needing to move into a space where you can come back to center, where you can realign your chakras. So do know here in the Moon on water that you don't have to worry about how you're going to do it. You're instinctively going to feel drawn towards different activities. You're instinctively going to feel like, oh, maybe I should book a Reiki session, maybe I need a personal reading, maybe I want to work with tarot cards, and so on. So you will just have different cues mentally that will show you the different options that fit for you when it comes to a grounding. So for all my Leos, don't overthink how you're going to get back to balance, how you're going to ground yourself. Know that it's going to come naturally to you. Next, we have look for fairies. So I see you being unusually intrigued with the supernatural during the month of December. So it could be that you're intrigued with different things like Martians, fairies, just energies that you have heard of but have not been proven, or just different conspiracies do prove that they exist, but it's not really something that science has 100% kind of like vouched for. So I do see here in Look for Fairies that you're intrigued by everything that is mystical, from mermaids to sirens to fairies to witches. These are just all things that intrigue you and interest you. Next, we have flowing like water. So I see that a deep connection to the ocean is something that you can feel during the month of December. So flowing like water and being connected to water, those are things that you feel in your daily life. So feeling like showers and baths are very cleansing and very grounding to you, but also feeling drawn to a larger body of water and what type of effect that it may have on you as well as the planet. So I do see here in flowing like water that more documentaries and knowledge about the oceans, about water in general, intrigues you. Just for example, the fact that the human body is made up of like 73% water, some number like that. The majority of who we are is water, and just understanding in the Moon on water that the moon regulates ebb and flow, right? So these huge bodies of water that we have on the planet, and what effect that must have on us as human beings, being made up of over 70% water. So I see a lot of thoughts that you have circulating around water, and just overall kind of like the opposite of what you are. So you are a fire sign. Water is obviously, just speaks more for water signs, speaks more for the intuitive parts of ourselves. But I do see here that even though all of my fiery Leos, you're usually more about your divine masculine and not so much the divine feminine, which is water. I see you just connecting more than usual to your divine feminine, to that emotional side, as well as the side of you that is more intrigued about the depth of different processes, of different thought processes that otherwise you wouldn't necessarily consider. You know, all of these magical beings, sayings, mystical things that have existed for hundreds and thousands of years. So I definitely see a body of knowledge that is growing for you, all of my beautiful Leos, and just overall a lot of education as well, but first-hand education. So not just reading things in books, but actually experiencing it, and experiencing it in conjunction to your divine feminine. So all of my beautiful Leos, this is the reading that I received for you. If you are intrigued to receive your love reading for December, I have linked the video in the description box, so feel free to check that out if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in another video. Hello, all my beautiful Virgos of the world, and welcome to your December prediction. So I'm going to get straight into it, while all you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy your December reading. First and foremost, we have the labradorite, which is honestly one of my favorite stones. In the labradorite, I see a lot of magic coming towards you during the month of December. So all of my beautiful Virgos, do not worry about whether December is going to be magical and fun or not. It definitely looks like there's going to be more magic present than ever before, or at least up until this point of the year. Next up, we have the rhodonite. So in the rhodonite, I see you finding a way to forgive those who have wronged you. So that friend, that family member that has been talking smack about you, that has been saying things that are untrue, pushing your buttons relentlessly. I see here in the rhodonite that in a way, you're standing way above that. You're truly just not interested anymore in caring about that, and you're just overall finding a way to forgive, not for them, but for your own peace of mind. Next, we have the moonstone. So in the moonstone, I see here that you're deeply connected to your purpose, and that is what is allowing you to find a way to forgive all of these people who have done you wrong, all of these people along your life that have done things that were less than kind, but in a way now you're thankful because it's made you so much stronger. It's not been one of those things that didn't kill you but made you weaker. It didn't kill you and it actually made you stronger. So that is where I can see in the moonstone that in a way you're thankful for all of the detours that have pushed you further towards your purpose at the end of the day. Next, we have the chrysoprase. So I see here in the chrysoprase that out of all of these zodiac signs, you're one of the ones that are receiving the most during December. So the fact that the Virgo is more of a timid, humble sign, I see that the riches are coming tenfold to you during December, so to say. As in the chrysoprase, we have this energy here that is only present when you're in a place of being not only receptive to things, but those things flowing towards you naturally. So these are material goods, this is financial abundance, as well as overall emotional caring and well-being that other people are putting towards you. So I see a good deal of attention coming your way for December. Next, we have the chariot. So all of my Virgos in the chariot, I see that your eye is still on the prize. So you're still very focused on what it is that you want to accomplish. Okay, we have a few more cards that want to speak, that wants to be a part of the chariot. We have the Queen of Wands as well as the King of Swords. Now, let's speak about this right now. As I said, your eye is still on the prize. You don't feel like you need to come to the end of a calendar year in order to be able to make a resolution. You don't really believe in New Year's resolutions. You feel like that's just a recipe for failure. Rather, you believe in habits that can accompany you throughout the entire year, throughout your life. You don't have to wait till the end of the year in order to start working hard on a project. So I see here in the chariot that nothing really changes so much in December. It's just you continuously moving forward and building healthy habits. In conjunction to the King of Swords, you are way too logical to fall for New Year's resolutions. You're way too logical to feel as though, oh, I have to wait till December 31st until I can start my getting fit journey. No, that is not you. I can see here in conjunction to the Queen of Wands that any cool idea that sparks joy that comes to you in December you're starting it right then and right there. You're not going to wait till the new year. You're not going to wait till all of the stars have aligned and the humidity in your room is exactly how you need it, and your crystals are all pointing in the right direction. That is not you. I can see here in the Queen of Wands that you're taking action when it feels right. You're taking action when a great idea comes towards you. Next, we have the watermelon tourmaline. Now in the watermelon tourmaline, I see here de-stressing your mind, your body, as well as your schedule will allow you to rest, recharge, and revive your soul, okay? So for all of my Virgos, I do see in the chariot, you're working hard, you're moving forward, you have your eye on the prize, but the watermelon tourmaline is foretelling and foreshadowing in a way a little bit that it's important for you to not get yourself so close to a burnout that you feel demotivated and kind of just like bleh about life. So I do see here in the watermelon tourmaline that it's very important for you to take time to de-stress your mind, your body, free up time in your schedule just for you. Next, we have the malachite. Now in the malachite, I do see here that there is a positive shift in your flow of divine support, which is why you want to ride that wave like we spoke about in the chariot, which is why you want to keep moving forward, keep pushing forward, keep working without giving yourself much needed breaks. So I do see here in the malachite that prosperity is something that you're being called to just receive, like we spoke about in the cries of praise. Enjoy, but don't feel overly pressured to put in more and more and more work, okay? It's important for you to also recharge. Next up, we have the appetite, and the appetite just is really solidifying what we just spoke about, all my beautiful Virgos. It's about progress, not perfection. So don't compare yourself to others. Don't compare yourself to what anybody else is doing or judge yourself based on that. I see here in the appetite that it's so important for you to focus on everything that you've overcome, everything that you have been able to accomplish, and to know that even if you're making progress in little increments because you're chilling, because you're giving yourself time to recuperate, to recharge, that is still good. It's not about being perfect all the time. It's not about using every ounce of your energy for work and for your goals every minute of the day. Sometimes it's also just about reflecting, taking time to chill, and not stressing out. Next up, we have meditate as well as movement. So now all of my beautiful Virgos, I do see here in meditate that meditation has miraculous effects on you during the month of December. So even if you just put on your meditation app, say like first thing in the morning, that's for example something that I just did this morning, just turn on my little app, meditate for like 10 minutes in bed. There is absolutely no effort. It's almost like you're waking up in a more relaxed manner, but you've already checked your meditation off your list. Find a convenient way to integrate that into December, as it will really help you with stress reduction, which we spoke about here in the watermelon tourmaline earlier. Also, movement is another way how you can get rid of too much stress, how you can get rid of any type of tension that may start to amount or build up within you, and to just free yourself energetically every now and then. Just get through a workout that really makes you sweat, that really pushes you, because the feeling that you have after that is so necessary in order for you to be able to navigate through December and not feel like you're burning out, or not feel like, you know, workload is just endless and you're just all work, no fun and play. So balance is something that's important for you, and you need to bring that into your life, because as a Virgo, you're a very hard worker, and it's hard for you to not strive towards perfection. It's hard for you to take a day off, and when other people tell you to do so, you're just like, yeah, okay, I'll do it, but you don't actually. So do know that you were called into this reading for a reason, and that it is in fact important even for you to give yourself time to chill, to relax, and rest. So all of my beautiful Virgos, this is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it. Do know that the December love predictions are linked in the description box if that is a video that you have not seen but you would like to tune into, so you can find that down below as mentioned. I'm sending you so much love, all my beautiful Virgos, and I'll catch you in another video. Hello all my beautiful Libras of the world, and welcome to your December prediction. So I'm gonna get straight into it. All you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy your reading. So let's see what's coming for you during December. First and foremost, we have the Nine of Vessels. So all of my Libras, this is one of the most favorable cards of the tarot. I want you to know that the Nine of Vessels is also known as the wish card. So basically any wish that you make is going to be granted. I see a lot of generosity that's coming towards all of my Libras, and a lot of abundance in the sense of you being able to manifest so easily and being able to have your wishes come true. Next up, we have the Ace of Arrows. Now in the Ace of Arrows, I do see here that this gives you the confidence to bring ideas to life. Okay, this brings you the confidence to move into new creative endeavors and try out new things that require of you to be creatively independent, but also fierce and fearless. Have you ever thought of like this cool creative idea that you had, for instance, making music, creating art, just doing something way out of the box or something very eccentric, but you were a little afraid to do it because you had doubts whether it would look good, whether it would work, so you ended up putting it off and putting it off. But I see here that in December, you will have that extra courage to actually try it out, to actually do it. Next up, we have the Lapis Lazuli. So making decisions is something that you're able to do way more than usual during the month of December, especially as a Libra. You can be a little bit all over the place. It can be hard for you to actually make a decision, to actually say, okay, this is my answer, without there being like a large backstory to why this is your answer. I see here in the Lapis Lazuli that decision making is something that comes more easily, again, because of this increase in courage, as well as you believing in yourself more than usual during the month of December. Then we have the Iolite. Now in the Iolite, I do see that you're shifting your money mindset. So because you're realizing, wow, like abundance can come very easily, and so can financial flow, so can financial just abundance in general. So you also learning from other people that money is only as difficult as you say it is to make. It is not in actuality something that is unattainable or unachievable for you. So I do see here in the Iolite that just shifting that whole thought process is a big thing that's coming for you in December. Now, somebody may inspire you who makes a lot of money, an entrepreneur, or just overall someone who you look up to. And I see here in the Iolite that they're really helping to shift and change the way that you feel about finances. Then we have the Appetite. In the Appetite, I can see you getting out of your comfort zone. Now, getting out of your comfort zone is something that is happening naturally when your money mindset shifts, all of my Libras. And I do see here that getting out of your comfort zone is another thing that happens when you make decisions more quickly than you're used to, and just in a sense, in a almost like hurried manner, in a almost like rushed manner that you're not used to. Next up, we have the Malachite. So I do see here that you're just realizing it's time for transformation. I see that in December, it's almost like your personal judgment day where you're like, look, if I continue on this route, am I going to reach my goals? Am I ever going to have my dreams become a reality? And if you answer that question with a no, you know, that just big kind of epiphany, that big like, wow, okay, well then something needs to change. Is what I can see here in the Malachite. I can see that you come to this realization that, okay, I need to transform. I need to change something if I want the success that I desire anytime soon. So one thing that I can see here is just you really just making that switch to not thinking about doing things, not feeling like, okay, eventually it will, but actually doing. Actually engaging in and taking the action necessary in order to transform your life. Next, we have the Seven of Arrows as well as the Archer. So this is a very interesting combination. I can see here in the Seven of Arrows, in a sense, like you want to be insecure, but in the Archer, there's no way to be there, okay? There's no way to be insecure. There is no way for you to give yourself a break and allow yourself to kind of just chill, allow yourself to kind of just also maybe fade into the background, to maybe just let shyness and fear get the best of you. I see that while you kind of wish that you can do that, it's not actually something that's happening. It's not actually something that you feel is feasible moving forward. So that's where you're a little bit torn and wish sometimes that you could just not be the center of attention, that you could just not have all of these responsibilities, but you understand that with a lot of responsibilities does come also a lot of abundance and a lot of gifts in life. Next up, we have the Seven of Cups. So in the Seven of Cups, I see that it's very clear for you why you have made certain decisions. Okay, we have the Four of Coins as well. So I do want you to know, all my beautiful Libras, that in the Four of Coins, you are in a space where maybe you're a little bit too tight on your budget. Okay, so it could be because December is just one of those months that's filled with spending. That's traditionally what December is about, right? It's all about getting gifts for people. It's all about spending unusually large sums of money. So I do see here in the Four of Coins that you're not really with that, and I see that you kind of want to hold on to more of your finances than you usually would. So this year your goal is really to make that conscious choice and effort to spend money very wisely, not frivolously, and to make sure that you're investing in the right ways, that you're not just getting things just to have a present for somebody, but that it actually means something. Next up, we have the Knave of Coins. So I do see here that in a sense, you've had a big reality check during 2020. You've had this big kind of epiphany where you're like, wow, the world is maybe not what I thought that it was, or just life is in general not necessarily how I expected it to be. So I do see here in the Knave of Coins that you're forming a completely new outlook about money. So both making sure that you're not spending frivolously, but at the same time, as we spoke about in the Iolite, shifting your money mindset to not believe that it has to be impossible or difficult to make. You feel as though during 2020, sure, there was a lot of uproar, and we did hear of a lot of people who were, say, the financial losers, but just as much as there are people who have lost, there are a lot of people who have gained, but they have remained silent. But those are the people who you are turning your attention towards. Those are the people who you're looking into a bit more precisely during December, and finding that the more you think about it, the more you're like, there has to be a way in order to create more abundance, to spend in a smart way, and to make your money make more money for you. Then we have the Devil. Now, I do want you to know here in the Devil that there will be a lot of very tempting opportunities every step of the way. So there will be a lot of things that you're tempted to purchase, a lot of things that you're tempted to try to engage in that you know does not help you on your route forward. But I do see here that the Devil is kind of like not hidden, okay? It's for you, it's very clear what the Devil represents, and you're not falling for it. I can see that it's just something that's very much in plain sight for you. It's something that you're not really struggling with realizing what it is. You're more just kind of like, oh, why is this here again? Like, for example, why am I getting an email of another sale? Or why is this person trying to draw me into this kind of scam business idea again? So it's very blatantly obvious to you that if you, for example, buy things from this sale, you don't really need those things. You would just be spending money that you could use to invest in a project that could make you money. The same goes for shifty business ideas. You're like, oh, why is this happening again? It's obviously not something I'm going to engage in. So I definitely see here the Devil just being a very clear, logical no-go for you during the month of December, and you just kind of like having to like swat it away. So all of my beautiful Libras, this is the reading that I received for you. I'm really excited about your 9 of Vessels and just this highly favorable card that we have within your reading. I truly hope that you're looking forward to December as much as I'm looking forward to December for you. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll catch you in another reading. Hello, all my beautiful Scorpio babies, and welcome to your December prediction. So I'm gonna get straight into it. All you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy this reading. So first and foremost, we have the fluorite as well as the aragonite. So all of my Scorpios, I do want you to know within the fluorite that there's this increase in inner peace that is available to you during the month of December. And I can see here in the aragonite that it has to do with you cutting ties with emotional baggage. So any emotional baggage that you've been holding on to in conjunction to a friend, a lover, even if it is an ex and you've been holding on to some baggage where you still feel resentful, cheated, or kind of annoyed when you just think about them, I can see here in the aragonite calcite that releasing that is something that is available for you during the month of December. And with you choosing to release and sever those emotional ties, you are finding peace within. Next up, we have the Six of Coins. So in the Six of Coins, I see, you know, giving and taking. This is very much in alignment with December, just receiving gifts, giving gifts, just overall finances being a very social thing, being something where there is this reciprocity and you can enjoy other people's thoughtfulness in the earthly realm. So other people thinking about what they could provide you with that could make your life better. So not just nonsensical material gifts or anything like that, but actual heartfelt things that you can get a lot of use out of, such as, for example, you know, a gadget that can help you with your work if you do digital work, or for example, something that can help you with an instrument that you love to play, or with the art that you like to create. Very thoughtful gifts that make sense. Next up, we have the King of Wands. Now, in the King of Wands, one thing that I can see here is that there's somebody in your life who is helping you gain more of that emotional peace. Now, this person in the King of Wands I see is older than you, okay? They're most likely also above the age of 35. They're this person who has a lot of fire sign energy, and they're a leadership type of figure. A lot of people are afraid of them. A lot of people are afraid of this person's power, but you know them in a different way. You don't feel intimidated by them, and they're influencing your ability to release emotional baggage. So they're almost like a role model. They've gone through difficult emotional situations themselves. They've severed ties to people who were a part of creating that difficulty for them, and you see how they've been able to rise like a phoenix from the ashes, how they've been able to still just soar and have the most fulfilled life, and that empowers you to do the same yourself. Next, we have the Knave of Wands. So in the Knave of Wands, I definitely see you almost like trying to follow the King of Wands, trying to follow in their footsteps, as we literally just mentioned, and just being like this baby King of Wands Scorpio, okay? Just being this person who is not only looking up to another successful human being, but trying to almost copy what it is that they did, almost trying to find the secret recipe within how they were able to create a successful life and use that recipe for yourself. Then we have the Six of Cups. So we've had the number 6 show up in your reading twice already. The number 6 is a number that corresponds well with people who are emotionally very attached to friends and family. Now, as a Scorpio, you're a water sign and you feel, you're very intuitive and you're very instinctual. So I see here in the Six of Cups that December is a great time for you emotionally because you feel very close to everybody who matters, and you feel like your relationships are given the importance that they deserve. So it could be that throughout, say, October, November, you felt like you didn't spend as much time with the people who you love like you wanted to, but December is really like that big emotional like love tank that just arrives, and as we spoke about here in the fluoride, provides you with the energy that you need straight out of the love tank of friends and family to know that, hey, everything is okay and you are still loved and appreciated. Next, we have the calcite. So in the calcite, I can see that you are being called during December to take charge of your schedule and to honestly assess any type of reasons, underlying reasons as to why you're way too busy always to take time for yourself. Is it because you don't actually want to spend time alone because you are worried you will have to maybe confront your inner demons and your shadow side? Or is it because you don't have time and you're taking on way too many projects? So one thing that I see here in the calcite is just you really getting honest with yourself towards the end of the year as to how you are using your time, how you're kind of like dividing your time up, who you're giving more time than necessary, and just overall being a bit more critical as to whether it even makes sense to fill up your schedule to this point. And I also do see that 2020 really did just show which meeting and which kind of responsibility just could have been held over the phone, just could have been done via Zoom or Skype. So I do see here in the calcite that that makes you feel like, wow, if this year has taught me so much about time management. I have to really make use of this information that I've been given. Next, we have the Amber. So in the Amber, I can see here that you are being called to also just release December to the universe for healing and answers. So not try to control the situation. Scorpios can sometimes be a little bit controlling or attempting to control situations, especially when the situations are emotionally charged. So I do see here in the Amber that the universe wants you to just kind of let go a little bit and not stress. Now, you may think to yourself, well, that is just not possible, but at least attempt, at least try to give it up to the universe, at least try to just let things flow and not pre-plan things or not overthink what's coming next. Next up, we have build strength, which also corresponds to the Six of Coins. The Six of Cups as build strength is in conjunction to the number 6, another 6 that has showed up within your reading. So all of my Scorpios, do look out for the number 6. It is clearly trying to speak to you. It is clearly an important number for December. And I do see here in building strength that in conjunction to the number 6 and the fact that the number 6 is so important for your relationships, for platonic as well as romantic relationships, do know that you are building strength in all of your relationships, and looking out for the number 6 can give you great ideas of the synchronicities going on around you. So seeing the number 6 repeatedly, that is a sign that you're moving in the right direction. That is a sign that, okay, I'm going to continue going down this route. So pay attention to the number 6 during the month of December. Write it down if you're afraid that you may forget about it. And do know here in conjunction to building strength that the number 6 is going to allow you to excel and move in a positive direction, not just for yourself, but also the relationships that are concerned in December in your life. Next up, we have positive affirmations. So it is important for you to show yourself some love, all of my beautiful Scorpios. Make sure that you're constantly repeating positive affirmations. For example, when I'm really down and out and annoyed with a situation, I just repeat these positive affirmations in my head over and over again. Like, I'm caring, I'm kind, I'm successful, I'm giving, all of these things. So I just like repeat them over and over and over again. So I talk them over any negative self-talk. I talk them over any type of overthinking that I may do. If somebody, for example, said something rude to me, or somebody just had I had a negative encounter or just a negative energetic exchange, I try and cleanse myself and rid myself of that negativity with positive affirmations. And I do see here that you're being called to have those on ready to be able to do the same thing during December, because while your relationships are important and they are strengthening, at the same time in the Aragonite, releasing emotional baggage that you have been carrying around with certain people is not going to go down well for everybody. Some people will wish that you continue to be codependent, that you continue to be kind of like their little bitch, if you will, and the moment you're like, no, I'm not doing it anymore, it may cause some furious words and some uproar. So you're being prepared for that. Next up, we have the Two of Stones as well as the Hooded Man. So I do see here in the Two of Stones that, just choosing your career is the right choice, because in the Hooded Man, at the end of the day, it's important that when you're all by yourself, when you're alone in your room, your house, your apartment, your estate, wherever it is that you live, it's essential that you're happy with you. It's essential that you're happy with the outcome of your life, that you're happy with how things are turning out on a personal level for yourself. So I do see here in the Two of Stones that in a sense it's a bit of a challenge throughout December for you to just really stand your ground as well as set those boundaries. But I do see here in the Hooded Man that you will know whenever you did something right, whenever you released emotional baggage that you could benefit from releasing, when you have those moments to yourself, when you're alone, when there are no other distractions, and you actually feel lighter. You actually feel like a weight has been lifted off of you, and that is just like the confirmation that you need alongside the number 6 during December to tell you that you are in fact on the right route. So all of my beautiful Scorpios, this is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Let me know down below in the comment section what hit home. Also, if you would like to see your December love prediction, I have linked that down below in the description box, so you can click that and watch your December love reading. So all my beautiful Scorpios, I'll catch you in my next video. Stay safe. I'm sending you so much love. Hello, all my beautiful Sagittariuses of the world, and welcome to your December prediction. So I'm going to get straight into it. All you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy your reading. So we have the Seven of Cups that just kind of popped right out of the pile, as well as two more cards that flipped over, which is the High Priestess as well as the Hierophant. So all of my beautiful Sagittariuses, I do want you to know first and foremost in the Seven of Cups that you have a lot of choices that you can make during the month of December. So it's kind of all up to you and what you feel is right. I see in conjunction to the Hierophant that a lot of it is based on spirituality. For example, the law of attraction. For example, using tarot cards for divine answers in order to receive messages that are important to you. I see here in the Seven of Cups that you're more and more kind of choosing what is intuitively good for you rather than relying on what other people think is best for you. So all my Sagittariuses, I do see here in the High Priestess a heightened sense of independence, as well as just severing ties from what society has told you was good up until this point. So I do see that during December it becomes clearer and clearer to you that it makes more sense for you to follow your heart and to do things that end up allowing you to feel good rather than to go with what is conventionally right or what it is that you are supposed to do. At the end of the day, what are you supposed to do anyways other than feel good about yourself, your life, as well as all of your accomplishments? So I definitely see you having a very strong opinion and living that opinion, all my beautiful Sagittariuses. Next up we have the Stag. So in the Stag, I definitely see you being a leader. I see you almost being a little bit intimidating and in a sense just propelling yourself to where you want to go regardless of what anybody else has to say. In conjunction to the Seven of Cups, I see that you very consciously made that decision. So when you're in a place where you're intimidating another human being, when you're in a place where you're exerting power and authority, you're doing so because you chose to do so, not because it just happened. So that shows me here that you are a very intelligent Sagittarius and during the month of December, and you're choosing very wisely what battles you're going to fight, what battles aren't worth the fight, and you're also being very strategic about the fact that you're naturally a leader and you can naturally be a lot to handle for people. You're using it to your advantage in certain situations, but why I say that you are such a smart Sagittarius in December is because it is your choice. You are not just explosive and all over the place and not in control of your emotions as well as what you're saying and what you're doing. You're in full control, you're in full power, and you know this and you're making use of it. Next up we have the Knight of Bows. Now in the Knight of Bows, I can definitely see here that you have a lot of energy. You're in a place where this energetic type of approach is a big part of what is helping you to push forward, to move forward, as well as to engage in decision making, and also in a way like being intimidating at times. I see here in the Knight of Bows that you're slowly but surely realizing that with some people you can reason, and with some people you just kind of need to give them a taste of their own medicine. And that's where I can see in the Knight of Bows that you're having a little bit of an experience with that in December. So somebody who you've tried over and over again to do the calm, nice, and gentle approach with, but they're just not getting it, they're just not having it, they're just not allowing there to be peace. So you're like, fine, I'm gonna give you a little taster of what you're giving me and many others, and let's see how you like it. And all of a sudden the person straightens up and you're like, why did I need to do that? Why couldn't we just go with nice? But okay, whatever works, I guess works. Next up, we have the Lapis Lazuli. So in the Lapis Lazuli, I do see here that in a sense, your decisions are a little bit all over the place. I see here in conjunction to the Seven of Cups that you are making decisions very clearly in your favor when it comes to your work, when it comes to managing relationships with other people, when it also comes to defending your right to believe in whatever it is that you want to believe in. But I can see here in the lapis lazuli that in a way decision making can be very stressful during December because of the sheer amount, the sheer volume of decisions. So at some point you get decision fatigue. So in the evenings, you're like, if I have to make one more decision, I'm just going to cry, okay? When you feel like if I just have to make one more choice, I'm going to scream, yell, and shout. That is one thing that I see here in the lapis lazuli that you have to be very careful with. So don't allow people to get the best of you once you've reached that time of the day where decision fatigue has set in. Instead, try and prep for it. For example, if dinner is always a time where you're like, oh, I don't know what to do, try and prep it the night before. Try and already decide the night before what you're going to do about it. Next up, we have the amethyst. Now, in the amethyst, I do see here that trusting your intuition is one thing that you're learning to do more and more. So I do see in the amethyst that in a sense, your intuitive side is coming out more than you're used to, especially being a Sagittarius. You can sometimes just run right over or right through your intuition and what it's trying to say. And then after you've already made a bad decision, you go back and you're like, huh, I guess my gut feeling was kind of trying to tell me something there, but I didn't realize it at the time. Whereas here in the amethyst during December, I can see that you're really overthinking things, you're really rethinking things, you're considering that gut feeling, you're considering what your body is saying, and you're not making decisions just based on one moment, just based on an impulse that you had. Next up, we have the Unakite. In the Unakite, I see that living in the moment is just really important to you, and you're learning that balance between living in the moment and making kind of decisions in the spur of a moment, making decisions impulsively. And I see that you're kind of learning to find a way to live in the moment, but not make decisions just impulsively, but live in the moment and do so feeling everything that you're going through. So living in the moment, not meaning, okay, I just make a decision on a whim impulsively without thinking about it, or making stupid decisions. I can see here in the Unakite in conjunction to the amethyst that you're learning that living in the moment also means being able to take your intuition and your instinct into consideration each moment of the day with every decision that you make. Then we have the appetite. So in the appetite, there is progress coming, but it's going to be far from perfect. So don't sweat it. I can see here that comparing yourself to others is something that you can tend to do in December, especially with all of the great like photos of Christmas season, of New Year's season. It can be easy to compare yourself to another person and the life that they're portraying, say online, which is not necessarily the truth at all. So I do see here in the appetite that you're being called to be kind to yourself, not judge yourself, and also to remember that oftentimes the amount of work and effort that has been put into a photo, the amount of planning that it takes to make something look effortless, a lot of people don't even enjoy the moment anymore once they have that awesome, for example, Christmas photo or New Year's photo that they've had to pose for like 30 minutes, their food got cold, they couldn't figure out the lighting, they didn't like the photo, they had to retake it, rearrange things, the whole shabam. So do know here in the appetite that being hard on yourself is just really not worth it, and to not fall into that trap. Next up, we have the calcite. Now, all of my beautiful Sagittarius babies, I do see here in the calcite that there is a lot of multitasking that you're attempting to do. Keep in mind, your brain cannot split itself in half. Okay, multitasking is just switching really quickly between two different tasks. So you may want to sometimes take a step back and think to yourself, should I really multitask this, or should I just kind of do one thing at a time and make sure that I'm putting as much effort as I possibly can into getting the task right, into making sure that the task is done efficiently. So I do see here in the calcite that taking charge of your schedule is really important, because other people will try to schedule you in for things a lot of things, and that's where you have to draw a line and try to take a little bit of control back if you can. I know it's not possible in every situation, especially if you're working for somebody who isn't very considerate or you have a certain type of job. I do know that it can be hard to schedule things in a way that makes sense for your mental health, but do try to do so. Do try and schedule certain times where you're busy with one task at a time and certain times where you just really just have a break and you don't need to think of work at all. Then we have spend time with animals as well as sync with the moon. So all of my beautiful Sagittarius babies, I do see here in spending time with animals that is a great way for you to just get away from the hustle and bustle, from any type of nervous, busy energy. And syncing with the moon is another great gateway for you to fill up on energy as well as feel connected with your highest self, to feel connected with the universe. Engaging with the moon is not only very powerful when it comes to setting intentions as well as manifestation, it is also something that makes you feel like you're a part of a whole, a part of a community almost, because when you set intentions with the moon, when you engage with communities, for example, on Instagram, you know, I always try to post something when there's like a new moon, a full moon, you feel as though you're really a part of something grand and you're tapping into other people's energies who are focused on these celestial events as well. Do know that if you have animals, the moon and its phases can affect them a lot. I notice that my animals are always kind of like going through something on full moons, and so am I. So do know here that it actually has been proven that you sleep less during full moons. There is scientific evidence, which makes a lot of sense in conjunction to the moon syncing with it, so on and so forth. So use it to your advantage, but also be kind to yourself. For example, during full moons, if you know that you're sensitive to full moons, and understand that maybe your performance might not be at its peak then, and that's okay. And that's something that you shouldn't judge yourself on, and to know that moving forward, there will be times where you can be more productive than you expected, and to then really lean into the productivity in order to balance out any types of lows that you may have had during December. So all of my beautiful Sagittariuses, I truly hope that you enjoyed your reading. If you are interested in receiving a December love reading, the link to my December love predictions are down below. It is for people who are single as well as taken, so feel free to check that out. Sending you so much love, all my beautiful Sagittariuses, and I'll catch you in another video. Hello, all my beautiful Capricorns of the world, and welcome to your December prediction. So I'm gonna get straight into it, and all you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy your December reading. So first and foremost, we have the 8 of Arrows. So all of my Capricorns, one thing that I can see here in the 8 of Arrows is that you may go through a little bit of a struggle in December. Moving forward into your reading, we have the 7 of Arrows. So I can see that the struggle is coming from a place of insecurity of what is coming next. One thing that I can see is that the unknown is kind of making you feel a little bit like pessimistic, if you will, for 2021, and also experiences that you've been through during 2020. We have the moon on water next up. So I do see here that a great solution to any type of insecurity or emotional struggle that you're going through is to listen to your intuition when it's speaking to you, when it's trying to tell you what it is that you can do in order to soothe yourself. As a Capricorn, you're somebody who is highly intelligent and your intellect is important for you. So you are just being real, but sometimes just being overly real can result in a lot of type of pessimistic thinking or feeling like the odds are stacked against you. Next up, we have the 10 of Vessels. So I do see here in the 10 of Vessels as a strong, stark contrast to the 8 of Arrows as well as the 7 of Arrows, that happiness is ultimately what is going to prevail if you're able to follow your intuition, like we spoke about in the moon on water. So do know, all my beautiful Capricorns here in the 10 of Vessels, that this is a very favorable card to have shown up in your reading, and it does show that happiness is in fact a part of your December in 2020, even though at the beginning of your reading it was like, oh, struggle, or a bit insecure. But once you've found yourself, once you've found kind of like a place that you feel steady on, you know, once you've found like the ground beneath your feet, I can see here in the 10 of Vessels that you're then able to fully enjoy and be a lot happier than prior to when you actually found the place that you needed to be in. Next up, we have a beauty ritual. So one thing that I can see here in the beauty ritual is the fact that self-care is something that can really help you get to this happiness, that can help you follow your intuition, because when you're engaging in self-care and you're 100% just absorbed in the task that you're doing, whether it is, for example, soaking in a bath, whether it is, for example, doing your hair, your makeup. I mean, we all have different preferences. I do know that I have a lot of men on my channel as well, so not everything will necessarily apply to you, but do know here in the beauty ritual, all my Capricorns, that when you're spending undivided attention on yourself and also a lot of time on yourself, that is when you're able to reflect, and it's almost like being in a meditative state where you're only focusing on the task at hand, and then you're able to kind of come to different conclusions and different thought patterns that you otherwise wouldn't have had because your mind was so busy. Next up, we have a rest. So resting, it's a big one. All of my Capricorns, when you're in a place where you're unsure, where you feel like you're struggling, where you're insecure, just take a nap, okay? Whether it's in the office, whether it's at home, whether it's at school, just, you know, doze off, do a little snooze, and just allow yourself to rest. Of course, make sure that you're doing so safely without getting caught, without risking something happening to you. But I do see here in rest that you are lacking rest, and that's most likely also why you're struggling at the beginning of December. You're struggling because you need to recuperate. You're struggling because your body is unable to cope with not enough sleep, not enough hydration. You know, bust out your water bottle, take a sip right now, all my Capricorns. Make sure that you're staying fresh, you're staying hydrated, and of course that you're sleeping enough. Next up, we have death. So all of my Capricorns, I don't want you to feel as though death has to mean a literal death. That is not the case. The death card is actually not a fatal type of card, okay? There are cards that are far heavier that can show up within your reading. So I do want you to know here in death that this speaks of an ending of an era, an ending of a certain period of time. And now the death card showing up during your December prediction is not unusual because you are in fact ending the calendar year. You are moving into a fresh situation, and you do have to be okay with 2020 coming to an end, which you're maybe more than okay with. And that is why in conjunction to rest, you're kind of just wanting to wake up in a different era, in a different year, in a different century. So allow yourself to, okay? Don't feel too pressured to do a ton of work. Next up, we have the Three of Swords. So all of my beautiful Capricorns, in the Three of Swords, I definitely see here that there is some clashing of ideas that's happening. So it may be, for example, that a friend or a family member is very much of an opposite opinion, say politically, or if it comes to the environment. For example, they feel as though it's better to farm sustainably, whereas you feel like, oh, we don't have to kill any beings unnecessarily, period. And there is some tension there. There is a situation there where it's kind of like you have your opinion and you feel like your facts are right. They feel the same way, and that's causing a little bit of a rift. I can see here in the turquoise that you're being called to prioritize your mental health at that point, to not engage for too long in any disagreements, and just say to yourself, is it really worth it? Is it really worth my mental health, my inner peace, my sanity to argue with this person? Most likely it is not. So do remember throughout December that you have the turquoise within your reading, and you're being called to prioritize your health first and foremost, not winning an argument. Next up, we have the Amazonite. The Amazonite is all about loosening your grip. It's all about kind of chilling out a little bit. In conjunction to the Apatite, I see that you need to chill out in conjunction to coming out of your comfort zone, okay? In connection to you being put in difficult situations, or situations where you feel like, I don't really know what to do, and be okay with it, because in those situations you're able to find new ways to be creative, to find new ways to solve problems, and also getting out of your comfort zone, even if it's involuntarily, often means that it's sink or swim, but you are going to end up swimming. That's what happens 99.9% of the time. So see this kind of like as a blessing, and don't try to hold on too strongly to the railings. Do know here in the Amazonite that you are being called to loosen your grip and not be so like tied to security, not be so tied to, for example, financial security, and that's stopping you from quitting a job or quitting something that you're studying that you hate just because you feel like, oh, I started it, or well, it gives me security. I mean, honestly, the sacrifice that you make being unhappy every single day with a human being, a job, or like I said, something that you're studying, that is way too big of a sacrifice for you to want to make just because it gives you money every month. There are lots of other things that can give you financial freedom that you will actually love. There are lots of other people who can make you feel loved and taken care for, rather than feeling like you should stay with somebody who is just not valuing you to the degree that you know that you deserve. Next up, we have the Moonstone. So all of my beautiful Capricorns in the Moonstone, I can see that living your purpose is what is becoming more clear to you. December is almost like a reality check for you. It's almost like this, wow, okay, the alternative is either living my purpose, living what is meant for me, or almost like emotional death, right? Almost turning into this zombie that shows up every day to a job or to a place that they don't really like or they don't want to be, or where you're being undervalued. So maybe you would actually not mind the job, but you don't like who you're working with, whose energy that you're sharing, and just coming to this kind of like, wow, okay, I need to move into my purpose. The alternative is too costly. I cannot give up my sanity or literally any time in my life to be in a situation that I don't love. So I definitely see here a lot of empowerment for you, all my beautiful Capricorns, and a lot of like, wow, so this is really it. So this is really time for me to shine, to prioritize myself, and to loosen my grip when it comes to the things that I already know, and instead discover new things, discover new opportunities, and know that there's so many ways in which I can just have basic financial security or basic security in relationships. I might as well do it with a job that I love and with people who respect me just as much as I respect them. So all of my beautiful Capricorns, this is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Let me know down below in the comment section what hit home for you. If you would like to see your love reading for December 2020, I have linked that video down below as well, and I'll catch you in another reading. Hello all my beautiful Aquarius babies, and welcome to your reading. So I'm gonna get straight into it, while all you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy. So first and foremost, we have the Four of Swords. So all of my Aquarius babies, I do see here that when you have an opinion during December, you're sticking to it and you don't care what anybody has to say. I see a very opinionated you, as well as a you that stands on their moral high ground, and your integrity is what is most important to you. Next up, we have Justice. So as an Aquarius, you're already a very justice-loving person, and it is going to show, especially during the month of December, as I do see here in Justice that in a way there are some humanitarian types of crises that are going on. There's just something going on where you are witnessing a lot of unfairness, and you're making it very clear that you're not standing for it, you're not okay with it, and you want equality not only in your immediate environment but in this world in general. Next up, we have the Tower. So I definitely see that things around you are a little bit in a place of distress, and you are the thinker, you are the innovator, you are the person who's trying to get everything back to a healthier place, both mentally as well as physically. Let's move a little further into your reading. This is a very interesting progression. Next up, we have the Knave of Cups. So I do see here that in a sense the emotional side of yours that you usually keep more hidden is going to be triggered to come out. And I see that this has to do with the fact that you feel so fortunate, and seeing in the Tower as well as Justice just how unfortunate a lot of people in this world are. It really does touch you, and it really does make you want to create change. It really does make you want to create a life and a legacy that can outlive you and continue to do good on this planet. Then we have the Rhodonite. So I do see here in the Rhodonite that in a sense you want to forgive anybody who wronged you because you feel like your problems are so itty-bitty compared to some issues that other people have. Now, that does not mean that we're dismissing any difficulties, problems, or trauma that you've been through, all my Aquarius babies, but I do see here in the Rhodonite that things are going to move into perspective in December for you, and you're going to feel more and more like, wow, I have so much to be grateful for. It is way easier for me to forgive anybody who has done me wrong, any difficult situation, and to move forward with a clear conscience and putting my energy and effort towards people and places that really need it. Next, we have the Moonstone. So living your purpose is something that you're deciding to do in a definitive way during December. So December really is bringing out a very strong response in you, all my Aquarius babies. I see in the Moonstone that you're not going to stand up for any type of injustice. You will stand up for the underdog if you have to, whether it costs you a friendship, whether it costs you your job. You are more interested in what's right rather than what people want to intimidate you into saying or thinking. Next up, we have the Chrysoprase. Now in the Chrysoprase, on a lighter note, I see here that you're being called to allow yourself to receive. So a lot of people want to give you things, be it gifts, be it, for instance, financial kind of aid. And I can see here in the Chrysoprase that you just need to receive and know that it's okay. You give so much, all my Aquarius babies, that it's important for you to know that it's also fine to receive. It's also fine to be the one on the receiving end. You're the type of person who doesn't necessarily always need a very close emotional bond to know that you are friends with somebody or to know that somebody is important to you. So I do see here in the Chrysoprase that it can sometimes be weird when you see someone after a long time, or when somebody all of a sudden gives you a very big gift and you're like, oh, well, you didn't need to, like we don't do that much together after all. But I can see here in the Chrysoprase that it's important for you to just allow it to happen, as a lot of people get you more than you expected. A lot of people understand that you're not usually a overly emotional person, but that doesn't mean that you don't care. Next up, we have the Aventurine. So in the Aventurine, I do see that you're being called to create your own luck, all my beautiful Aquariuses of this world. So you're being called to understand that, yes, while it is important for you to create justice, balance, and also fairness in this world, you can, in a sense, create your own luck. You can also create luck that can help you in your ventures towards creating a more fair and kinder world, not only for yourself, but the people around you. So one thing about creating luck is first and foremost believing that you can be lucky, that you are lucky. And that is the switch that I see you flicking during December, and believing deep within that you're not only lucky, but you create your own luck, and others can do the same. Next up, we have the Garnet. So in the Garnet, I do see here that, we also have the Larimar, which wanted to speak with in your reading. So we will be considering both little Larimar. The Larimar is all about sensitive emotions, which is maybe why it just popped out of the pile of cards. Tried to convey to you the message here in the Garnet that you're going through a time that is overly sensitive in December. And why I say overly sensitive is because as an Aquarius, you're not used to this. I see here in the Garnet that it is time for you to release any type of physical as well as energetic toxins, and this can leave you feeling very vulnerable. It can leave you feeling almost like you're an easy target because you're not really used to feeling all the feels like that. So I do want you to know here in the Larimar that December is a time of heightened emotionality. December is a time where you're extra sensitive, and it calls for you to engage in more self-care, and especially because you are not only fighting for justice with yourself, but also fighting for equality for other humans, for other living beings. that can take a lot of energy out of you. So do make sure that you restore, and do make sure that you are extra gentle with yourself. And then we have the Queen of Arrows as well as the Stag. So all of my Aquarius babies, in the Stag, I see here very strong energy that allows you to command the attention in a room. In correspondence to the Queen of Arrows, I do want you to know here that commanding that attention can sometimes feel like a little much. So sometimes you enter a room, you know that you're energetically going to demand respect and attention, but then when it actually comes to, okay, what do you say next? I can see here in the Queen of Arrows that sometimes you're just going to have to think on your feet, go with the flow, and kind of make up a topic of conversation when you move into a new situation. But I do want you to know here that in December, you are like the leader. Your job as well as your relationships are going to need you to lead. They're going to need you to take on the responsibility that is too heavy for other people to carry, that's too heavy for others to stem. So while it is an emotional month for you, you're still kind of stronger than most other zodiac signs and more able to carry load around with you, whether it's responsibility, whether it's just having to take care of other people in the sense of being that rock, being that emotional crutch. So I do want you to know here in the Stag that this is where you can shine. This is a time of the year where people are going to remember what you did for them, the amount of support that you provided, and just what a high moral compass and what type of high moral road that you choose, regardless of how difficult the situation may be, regardless of how much injustice is in the air. You still believe in the good, you still believe that there is a way to change things, and you still will find a way to do so. So I do see here that as an Aquarius, you're not directly affected by a lot of the hurt or injustice that's going on during December, but you are directly focused on making things better for other people. I see that you are not just looking out for yourself and just celebrating and just having a nice rest of the year. You want as many people as possible to experience the same as you, and that's a big mission. That's a lot of responsibility. That is a lot of work also ahead of you. So do make sure that when you need a little bit of time off, all my Aquarius babies, that you give yourself that, and that you don't forget also to just enjoy the fact that you're moving into a new calendar year, that you're moving into a new period where you will be able to continue doing this work. I see a lot of work ideas and things that you want to do crammed into December, almost as though like January won't exist, almost as though like December is the last opportunity to do so, which it's not. So remind yourself of that. All of my beautiful Aquarius babies, I truly hope that you enjoyed your reading. If you're interested in receiving your December love prediction, I have linked that down below in the description box, so feel free to check that out, and I'll catch you in another video. Hello, all my beautiful little Pisces babies, and welcome to your December prediction. So I'm gonna get straight into it with my tattoo tarot cards, and all you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy your December prediction. So let's figure out what's going on for you. First and foremost, we have the Ace of Wands. Now, all of my Pisces babies, I see a great deal of creativity that is here for you during December. So great ideas on how to make the month fun, how to make the month very enthusiastic and, in a sense, memorable. Next up, we have the Seven of Cups. So I do see here that you always have a choice. You have the choice to be more pessimistic or optimistic, and you're kind of always choosing to be optimistic. You're always choosing to take the high road and to choose the path that is going to lead towards innovation, as well as creating a 2020 December that you're going to remember and that's going to go down in the good books. That's not just going to be something that was just like an anticlimactic end to a difficult year. No, you're choosing to create an awesome end of 2020. Next up, we have the Ace of Coins. So I do see with the Ace of Coins that there come more financial opportunities for you because of this positive ray of energy that you're just putting out there, because of this positivity that you are extending out into the universe. I see here in the Hanged Man that yes, it may take a little bit of time in order for these opportunities to manifest. So it may be something that actually comes in January. So get it this way, all of my Pisces. You are prepping the energy in December for January. You're prepping the opportunities in December through attracting them to you so they can actually be visible in January. That is one thing that I see here in the Ace of Coins in correspondence to the Hanged Man. So it's almost like ending this year on a positive note with a bang is going to allow you to start into 2021 with you being ahead of the game, with you already kind of having a leg up and not having to worry so much about what is next to come. But let's move a little further into your reading in order to figure out what else is here for you. We have the Black Kyanite. In the Black Kyanite, all of my Pisces, I see here that setting strong boundaries is not only important, but it is 100% necessary. You're being called to not move forward with any project or with any relationship until you've made it very clear what it is that you desire, what you expect from the person, and also where your boundaries lie. If somebody is saying, oh, let's just have fun, or let's just try this business opportunity, we need a contract. We need to make it very clear where we stand, because you're not going to allow your usual very trusting Pisces energy to get you in a difficult emotional situation. You're making sure that you're creating emotional security for yourself right off the bat. Next up, we have the Malachite. Now in the Malachite, I see transformation for you. So it is unusual for you to do these contract things, to make sure that, okay, you've set those boundaries before you even take any steps towards another person. But I see here in the Malachite that you're really transforming. You're becoming more business savvy, more street smart, all my beautiful Pisces, and you're being able to just protect yourself, your heart, and your assets more than you have in the past, because you're thinking ahead of the curve. Next up, we have the Seven of Vessels. So in the Seven of Vessels, I do see here in a sense that it's a bittersweet ending to come to this point of the year and maybe not have accomplished everything that you set your mind out to, or maybe you feel a little bit overwhelmed, or you wish that you could have gone back to certain periods of this year of 2020 and made more memories, you know, maybe recorded more phone calls, taken more photos with certain people that you're not able to spend that much time with anymore, or maybe somebody has not been able to be in your life the way you wanted them to. So I do see here in the Seven of Vessels, in a sense, a feeling of loss for 2020, a feeling of mourning what could have been. Next, we have the Hooded Man. So I do see that in a sense you have this very vulnerable side in comparison to this very strong side that you put to the outside world, that you put up to people who don't know you. On the inside here in the Hooded Man, you have this vulnerable piece of you that feels, in a sense, like you maybe just want to cry and let it all out. You just kind of want to journal it all out. You want to be in that moment where you're not judged, where there's nobody who's like holding you or coddling you. Sometimes you just need to let it out without somebody trying to say it'll be okay, without somebody trying to say like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, no, that's not the point. Sometimes we just need to ugly cry, and it's not about saying it's okay. That's not going to make us want to ugly cry any next. We just need to let off steam. So that is one thing that I can see here in the Seven of Vessels in conjunction to the Hooded Man. So if you feel like doing that, lock yourself in your room, lock yourself in your apartment, your house, your estate, your castle, wherever it is that you live, your igloo, and just cry it out. Ugly cry, journal it out, sing, laugh, cry, just do whatever you need to do in order to get that energy moving and to not be like sitting on stagnant energy that is just clogging your chakras. Next up, we have the Apophilite. So in the Apophilite, one thing that I can see here is that because you have this focus on positivity always, and this willingness to turn even a dark situation, even mourning, into something good, even mourning into, okay, I'm gonna get through it, and then I'm going to come out of the other end stronger. I can see here that this opens the doorway for abundance as well as help and opportunities. So because you're so devoted to positivity, I see here in the Apophilite that you are able to kind of receive more support and abundance than you ever expected. Next, we have the Appetite. So in the Appetite, I see a lot of progress being made, and in a sense, you want to be hard on yourself, but you also understand that it's about progress. It's not about perfection. In the Appetite, I can see here that comparing yourself to others is something that lasts only very shortly in December, because you know the game. You know that when there is this perfect Instagram photo, people have probably been sitting around that table. If it was, for instance, taken at a table with nice food and a Christmas tree in the back, they have been trying to take that photo for like a half hour. Their food has gotten cold. You know, they did not enjoy the experience, but it's just fabricated to look a certain way. That is where I can see here in the appetite that you kind of like kick yourself, hit yourself a little bit in the head, and you're just like, no, come back to reality. Don't be hard on yourself. What you see in the media, what you see in social settings, that is often fabricated. That is often not true. I'm not going to compare myself to these unrealistic standards and ideals. So I do see here in the appetite you distancing yourself from any type of expectation, from any type of feeling of, oh, I have to be perfect, or oh, my life isn't as good because X, Y, and Z. Next up, we have intuition as well as beauty rituals. So I can see here in intuition that you have this kind of sixth sense that is drawing you towards what is able to uplift you rather than what is pulling you down. Again, always choosing that positivity is what you have decided to do for December, which I'm really proud of you for, all my beautiful Pisces babies. So do know here in conjunction to the appetite that you intuitively know when you're unnecessarily being hard on yourself, and also when you're looking up to somebody or a situation that is so highly fabricated that it's really not worth questioning your own value over. So I do see here in the beauty ritual that most likely around, you know, December, Christmas time, you're going to be engaging in more beauty rituals. Maybe you're buying yourself some beautiful things that make you feel good, where you can engage in like some home spa activities, pampering yourself, making yourself feel good. So all of my Pisces babies, I do want you to know here in conjunction to the Malachite with the beauty ritual that transformation is not only happening with you being very clear about what's real and what's just fabricated for social media, but also transformation for yourself, where you're doing these beauty rituals, where you're taking extensive care of yourself, and you look at yourself and you're like, wow, I'm like really hydrated, I'm exfoliated, I'm well taken care of, I feel good about myself. I feel as though I have transformed a more stale, ashy me to a beautiful, glowy, and hydrated version of myself. And just really understanding that it's not about comparing yourself to anybody else. It's about comparing yourself to who you were yesterday, a few hours ago, and just being a better version of yourself. Always choosing that positivity is what I see will allow you to have a fabulous December and start into 2021 with a leg up, okay? Already ahead of the game of all other zodiac signs. But all my Pisces, that is our little secret. Don't tell anybody that this is how your reading turned out. So all of my beautiful Pisces babies, I truly hope that you enjoyed this reading. If you would like to receive your December love reading, I have linked that video in the description box, so you can click that, watch your December love reading to figure out what's coming towards you in love. It is both for singletons as well as those of you who are in a relationship. I'm sending you so much love, all my Pisces babies, and I'll catch you in another video.